If you have said to yourself, I should write that, or if someone has said to you, you should write that, then I'm talking to you because you need to write. And that's why you're tuned in to yWrite. Hi, welcome to yWrite. I'm your host, Angela Grout, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of yWrite, where we can find out why writers are writing what they write and why you should be writing too. Because, we all have that story inside of us, like I say all the time, and we're going to find a way to get your story out too. Are you going to write it down? Are you going to share it verbally? Are you going to sing a song? Who knows? But today I have a wonderful guest on today that is going to talk about songwriting. And I know we had Amanda Rowe on a few weeks ago, and she had talked about how she was doing songwriting. So today I have a guest that is from New Jersey, but he's actually native from West Springfield. He's becoming a well-recognized musician. Do you want me to start over?
Yes, because
yeah.
As
soon as I did it, I was like,
you.
oh!
I almost stopped you.
I saw your hand, and I was like, and in my head, I'm like, I can't even concentrate right now because I totally, okay.
You can't say fuck that up on camera. We'll have to cut that out.
Did I say that?
You thought about it.
Oh, I did, but I didn't say it. I'm like, did I swear? Oh my God. Okay.
So it's Faith Rowe.
I know.
Oh, that was what you got.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I said
like,
Amanda Rowe.
I don't think that was that bad, but
yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I said the wrong name, and I'm like,
okay.
oh.
Now I get it.
That was like a big thing.
Yeah.
Be like saying, oh, here's Danny.
Yeah.
We introduce Danny Blair now. Oh, sorry. What's your name?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So we can restart it.
Bobby Goff did that with Corey DeGray.
Okay, so that's not the first time someone did that. Wow. Oh, I'm so sorry, Faith. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, forgive me. I was just ad-libbing too, saying it, and I was like, oh, that'll be a good segue.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all right.
Okay.
Take two. We're not live.
Yeah, and especially good that I didn't swear. But the audience can read my mind, I know. I did make a mistake. Okay, we're going to start over. Hi, I'm Angela Grout. Welcome to yWrite. Thanks for tuning in to another episode to find out why writers write what they're writing and why they choose the specific way that they write. And not only that, why you should be writing too, because we all have that story inside of us that needs to come out. And whether you're going to write it on paper or verbally share it, or maybe write it in a song. Today, I have a songwriter on, and past episodes, we had Faith Rowe on, and she talked about her songwriting process. So today, I have Johnny Blair with me, and Johnny Blair is from New Jersey, and he is really becoming a very recognized musician all over the East Coast. Since the release of his first 3 tracks in February, thousands have been streaming his music, and he's been performing everywhere locally all this summer. And he's here in the studio today to talk about how he's become this great songwriter and musician. I'm going to share with you that I've known Johnny for a while. And, when I met him, he was a swimmer. He was a swimmer in the youth leagues and the high school leagues in West Springfield. I ran a youth cheerleading board, and his mom was my secretary. And we worked fabulously together, and Johnny was always there to help us. And we would go and watch him swim, and he was a championship swimmer. But I want to know how he went from swimming to singing, because they both use your lungs, so I'm sure it was helpful. But here he is, he's writing songs, he's writing his own music, and he is a native of West Springfield, and he has come here to the studio in Agawam today to talk to me about why he's doing what he's doing. So I want to welcome Johnny Blair.
Thank you. I appreciate the intro. That was good.
You like that?
That was good.
That was a good one, huh?
Yeah.
You had shared with me before the show started, you've always been into music.
Yeah.
And, you were raised on, traditional country stuff, folk songs, rock and roll.
Yeah.
But in high school, when I knew you, you weren't doing anything musically.
No.
I mean, as far as I knew, you were an athlete.
Yeah. And I think that's how I thought of myself for a long time.
Yeah.
It was athletics was number one in my life.
Oh, 100%. You were so dedicated.
It really was like middle school probably 8th grade through my college years.
Yeah.
It dictated
Oh,
every
I
aspect of my
remember
life.
even in 8th grade, you saying, I'm going to college, I'm competing at the, college level, and you did, and you were
did.
very successful.
Yeah.
And so now college is over.
Yeah.
Swimming is gone, but you're into songwriting.
Yeah.
So can you tell me like how this happened, how you got back into this?
Yeah, I mean, so really, if COVID had never happened, this would have never happened.
If COVID never happened, the show would have never
Right,
happened.
exactly. So I moved back. I moved out of my college dorm very suddenly. That was my senior year of college when COVID hit.
Ugh.
So I found myself in this really weird spot at my parents' house that I grew up in. It was back there. It was really weird to begin with. And then, I had this job lined up. I was going to start remotely, and I just kind of found myself having a lot of time on my hands. Time that like I had never had before because it was just so regimented in my life with athletics and all that stuff. And I picked up a guitar that had been hanging around for 10, 15 years. I played a little bit when I was like 7, 8, and then picked it back up a little bit, probably in middle school, but nothing super formal at that time. It was just, messing around with notes, trying to, figure out the fretboard.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, you're not a musician that took like years and years and years of lessons to learn how to play the guitar or piano. You are, I'm going to call you self-taught.
Yeah.
I mean,
think a lot of people would.
I'm imagining you just sitting in the basement and self-teaching yourself all these keys and chords, and then not just learning them, but creating music.
Yeah. That was, well, I think I started like playing, all the stuff that I like to listen to. And then at some point I was just like, I could do that. I could write that. I could write something that maybe, doesn't, not as many people hear it, but it's just as good in my eyes, And so that was really what kind of gave me the push. And then, it took me a while before I was ready to like share that with people. I mean, I really wasn't, I don't think ready per se until this year when I put those 3 tracks out was my first point where I had a little confidence.
So you put the tracks out in February.
Yeah.
And you've been pretty fast-tracked.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, you sing cover songs, and I call them cover songs, but original from other artists, and you've been singing. I mean, I want to ask how many gigs you've done, but you probably don't even remember that at this point. It's a lot.
I'm not sure. There was a point we were playing like every weekend in the summer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And do you play alone all the time, or?
No. I play with 2 other guitar players right now. Hopefully, over the course of the next year, maybe, I get a full band going. But I'm kind of enjoying just doing the acoustic thing a little bit too. Yeah. Just me and one other guitar player and kind of doing that a little bit.
Well, do I call it a single? Your single, Cigar Smoke?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I will say it's so soulful.
Yeah. It's
very a soulful song, and it's a storyful song.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a story in there, and, I could use the word lullaby, but I don't mean like it's going to put you to sleep by any means. But it's like, it's very soothing. And, for me, as I'm listening to it, I think like, Cigar Smoke in the air, it's that of seeing like that gaze in the air surrounding you, that foggy, hazy, misty morning. But for me, I see it as like the fragrance of flowers, because I'm going to relate it to flowers, because cigar smoking is not healthy for you.
No, it's not. No,
but like that fragrance in the air, and like for me as a florist for so many years, being surrounded by flowers, your story in that song really brought me into like this reflective moment of like, remembering where I was and who I was with and what I was doing when I was surrounded with the fragrance of flowers, and it comes back to you, like, and I just want to inhale all that like kind of smoke that's good for me.
Yeah, that was the goal. I wanted to capture that feeling of like, the first words in that smell stuck out to me when I was just 5. So it was like little me would be on the back porch at my papa's house, and there was the cigar smoke smell in the air, and it's just it was trying to capture that moment. So I'm glad
it 100% did. 100% did. I mean, it did make me think of the people I know who smoke cigars and things like that. But just talking about like where it had that really good walk down memory lane.
Yeah, good. Good. I'm glad.
So I want to ask you, like, as a writer.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know in high school you were a great student. You had good writing abilities and stuff. But here you're writing music. As a writer of not only lyrics but of music, when you're writing a song, like, what comes first?
Yeah, so I think I've kind of done it both ways. I've had Cigar Smoke, for example. I wrote that in, I think, 45 minutes. It had a different bridge, but I wrote all the words down very quickly. It all came together. in other cases, with one of the tracks that I put on there, Cowboy, that I had the whole rhythm guitar, and I kind of worked around that.
Okay.
But I think no matter what, if it's the words coming first or if it's the music coming first, I always kind of hear it a little bit. I have to hear it in my head, and kind of and just have that like sense of sound, and that's kind of what guides me the most. I think.
Isn't it a great feeling to have like the world quiet and you're just hearing those thoughts in your head?
Absolutely, it's
like,
soothing. It's like
it is, and I work at the Big E once in a while, and I just think like every single person is carrying a cell phone in their head, and if you could see all the Wi-Fi signals going all around, like what a crazy, confusing, tangled web of a world we live in. But it's like when you just can, tune in to just that one source and, and say, okay, what am I hearing? What is my soul speaking? What do I need to convey for myself or others?
Yeah.
So this brings me to why share publicly? Because that's a huge thing.
Yeah. At some point, I think I just reached a point where I was like, I think this is good enough to where, I think I can put it out there. I think maybe, if I'm doing this and I'm loving it, maybe other people will too, and I think at the same time, I think sometimes music just soothes people, for different reasons. And
it's a universal language.
Exactly, so I think really I just was ready to take the step and say, okay, you know what, people might not like this. People may not, like me for doing this or like my approach to it, but at the end of the day, I don't care. And I want to do it.
You got to do what you love.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
And you're not going to please 100% of the people 100% of the time. But if you can please 100% of the people who are interested in what you do 100% of the time, that's great.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of bravery to writing and sharing, and a lot of courage of being able to, as an artist, say, "This is good enough."
Yep.
Because
100%.
As a writer, I've coached people to write books, and I'm in a lot of writing groups, and I definitely see like people will overthink, over edit, and sometimes that like first 45 minutes that you wrote is you're like,
that's what you want.
That's what you
captures that moment.
Yeah,
Yep.
I can talk in a lot of parables, but I mean, it's so true. Sometimes you just you know it, and trusting that gut instinct,
absolutely,
and not asking for 17 people to say, "What did you think? What did you think? What did you think?"
Right.
It's what did you think?
Yeah, exactly.
And if you love it and you're proud of it, other people are going to love it and be proud of it too.
Well, you hope so.
So you're from West Springfield.
Yep. Yeah.
You're talking like a southern country boy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a little bit of different emphasis on syllables and stuff, really. But I mean, a lot of people have kind of gave me that, like, really, like country, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I think that we grew up in the woods. It was a different kind of woods. That we were in Bear Hole, Mittenegg Park, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would never fake any of that stuff.
Yeah, no, he's not faking it. He's definitely not faking it.
You can't.
But it's just funny, like, you always think people who are going to be country singers,
right,
are from
roots.
the South.
Yeah.
And, it's like here, you're here and you're
it's
doing
a little bit of an untapped market too, that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, because, us New Englanders want to support other New Englanders.
Exactly.
So it's like, you are from New England. We just had New England's Great State Fair, and it's a little country there.
A little bit. Depends on where you go, maybe. Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about the kinds of music you sing that's not just your originals, but the other ones, like why you choose to sing those.
Yeah. So back, in 2019 in my dorm room, I listened to a song by Riley Green called "I Wish Grandpa's Never Died." I don't know if you know it or not.
I do know it.
Yeah, and so that was the song that I heard. I heard it all stripped down. He was just sitting up there playing the guitar.
Acoustic.
That was acoustic, yeah. And that song was the song that made me want to pick up a guitar again after all those years. And at that point, it still took me a couple months before I did it. But one of my favorite songs always to cover, I'll do it until I got a full set list, I guess, all my songs. But I will always cover that song. It means so much to me. And I really, every time I play it, I just think back to like, this is where it all started for me, just hearing that song. So I love doing that, but at the same time, that's a slower song. So when I'm doing cover songs, I love to like, do stuff everyone knows. Get everybody up and moving.
Yeah.
Whether that's playing, Kid Rock or, Garth Brooks at the end of the show, whatever it is.
Well, you got good rock and roll and country.
Exactly. Mixing it up, getting some upbeat stuff.
And you got that good, very soulful voice.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. It's just like, like,
thank you.
All right, I've known him since he was a kid, so I have to act like he's still a kid, but
That's
you know
right.
he's growing up
That's
into
right.
this very
Yeah.
handsome young man. To be a heartthrob.
I don't know about that.
How you
but-
handling that?
Yeah, it's, you know,
People
take it
have
as it
posters
comes.
in their rooms.
I don't know. Not yet. I don't
Okay.
think,
Well,
but-
I don't know. There's a couple posters I've seen around. That's for sure.
Okay.
So, you know, becoming an artist and becoming like known, you know,
Yeah.
being found kind of, or going seeking after your dream and saying, okay, you know, I want to make this album, or I want to be able to put this on, you know, whether it's on YouTube or streaming on Apple and Amazon, you know, like getting yourself known can be difficult.
Yeah.
And you and I are a little similar doing this, and you know, and you worded it great saying doing it the grassroots way.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, so how did you start doing this?
Yeah. So I ended up, probably by the end of 2021, I had like 3 or 4 songs that I was like, you know what, these are like decent songs. I think they're like pretty good. Looking back, I don't know if they were that great, but I said, okay, these are good songs. I ended up linking up just by chance with a producer who lived for 25 years in Nashville.
Yeah, a Grammy nominated.
Producer.
I mean, not just any producer,
he's
Grammy nominated producer.
Yeah, very, very, you know, prestigious resume that he has.
Yeah.
But we ended up linking up. You know, he, you know, really helped guide me, helped teach me how the studio works.
This is Jim Allison.
Jim Allison,
Okay.
yep, down in Linwood, New Jersey, at Nashville North Studios.
Nice.
And so he kind of just introduced me to everything. We went down, we cut a couple acoustic demos first, and then eventually over the course of last year, we decided to put together a couple full songs, you know, full records. And so, yeah, it's just been, you know, such a fun, like, process, learning as you go, a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
And then putting those songs together and, you know, getting them out there, you know,
And starting like a singer's platform, a performer's
Exactly.
platform, you know, not just for audiences to find you, but also to be able to showcase what you're doing to book venues.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because you got to go out and, you know, really walk the road.
Yeah. And I think having, you know, stuff that sounds so professionally done goes a long way. You know, if
100%.
You play it for somebody and they're just like, this sounds like it should be on the radio.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, well, we want you to come play.
Yeah,
here.
definitely. So where do you see yourself in 2 years?
Yeah, that's been a conversation I've been having a lot lately. I'm not really sure.
Well, you know, you want to make more songs.
Yeah,
You're
of
hopefully
course.
going after
Of
putting an
course.
album together.
Of course, we're putting together a couple songs right now that hopefully should be out, you know, towards the end of the year, early next year, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm not gonna stop doing that. You know, I'm definitely gonna keep making music. And honestly, I just want to see where it goes. You know, if we can start booking shows all the time and playing out more and getting more exposure, awesome. If you know, if that's not in the cards, you know, for me, I put all my faith in God.
Do you make your God? Are you hearing us?
Exactly,
Because we
right?
got everything in a basket.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'll write like my goals down and literally sometimes put them in a basket, around the year, and then at the end of the year pull them out and be like, did I do that? Did I do that? You know, like where did I go?
Yeah.
But you know, it's like trying to make that checklist. You know, I mean, people do say, oh, you know, they'll listen to a song. I can sing a song like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all done it. Oh, I read that book. I could write a book like that, or I could write a show like that. I mean, that's me. I'll say that. And, you know, it's like, you're right. You do have that defining moment where something affects you so much that you actually do it. And it's the action to do it. Not just action, it's the passion to do it.
To pursue it.
And, you know, kudos to you for doing this.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, because that COVID really did become that terrible time that created an opportunity for all of us to really carve out who we are.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
it's like, oh yeah, was I put here to, you know, really become an English teacher?
Right,
you know,
right,
or
yeah.
it's like, you really have a story to tell?
Yep.
And you know, you're self-teaching yourself how to play music yourself. You know, writing and putting together these musical arrangements, and then writing the lyrics to them. That's a double hard thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I can write lyrics, but I can't do music.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so in order to have both of them together, that's huge.
Yeah. It's been fun.
So I know your family supports you, and they're especially you've done a lot of shows like in this area.
Yep.
I know you've been all over kind of New England, but you know, I know the word of mouth is always great too.
Yeah,
You know, like everyone saying,
so.
"Oh, my
hope
kid's
so.
playing, or my
Yeah,
friend's
yeah.
playing," or you know, I mean, and it is, and it makes others so proud to be able to show your talent.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that I think that everyone that knows me is, as much as they're supportive, they're also my toughest critic. So when I started doing this, and I showed them the first couple songs and stuff, and I got support back from them, and they're like, no, this is like actually
Were you
good.
nervous showing them?
I was, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. How'd you get over that?
I think I finally just said, I don't care anymore. I felt like that for probably like a year. I was just like, I don't really know how good this is. And then at some point I just flipped the switch.
I remember feeling that way after I did my first book, and and your mom actually was one of the readers before that, and I was just like, okay, who can I trust to read this? Because I'm so nervous. What are people going to think of me? Are they going to like the story? Are they going to look different at me?
Right.
It's that whole getting over how people are going to judge you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of what you did.
Right, and they're going to do it anyways.
They're going to do it. They're going to do it anyways. You're right. And, it's like here, it's like, okay, I'm going to, share. And then by the time I got to the second, third books, I got a little more confident of saying, like, Dear Baby Gal, I'm like, this is it. It's done. Do you like it? I'm always up for someone to tell me what they like or what they'd like more of.
Yeah, sure. Of course,
I mean, especially like, oh, we love the song Cigar Smoke, or, we want more of that. You're like, okay, great. Yeah. If you like it, I'll give you more of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it could be about flowers.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Maybe
we got
something flowers one day. The fragrance of flowers. I don't know. Maybe we could team up and do something.
Or something. Yeah,
think of something. So let's talk about, we talked a little bit about the Cigar Smoke. Let's talk about your other songs, and what inspired you to write them.
Yeah. So the other two that I have out right now, the first one being Gospel Truth, that was actually a phrase that my grandfather always used to say. He'd have all these crazy stories about whatever it was, and people would be like, really, like that's and he would look at him and just be like, that's the gospel truth. So I always thought that was a cool little
phrase. Gospel according to Grandpa.
The gospel, right, Grandpa's gospel truth. But so I had that phrase written down for a while, and I don't know. I think that one was really just a product of listening to a couple other songs that I liked. There's an old Kent Blasey and Garth Brooks song called "If Tomorrow Never Comes," and so there was just a time in my life where I think I was having a lot of different thoughts and wanted to kind of write a story song that was also like a little bit of a love song, but I also wanted it to have a real punch when we sang the hook on it. So I think it came out exactly how I heard it, and that was really cool to see. And then the other one, Cowboy, I felt like there was always, in country music, there's always that like, I'm a cowboy this, I'm a cowboy that, right? And I'm not, admittedly, but I think you can make comparisons metaphorically.
Oh, 100%
to that of the cowboy lifestyle or whatever it is. And so I wanted to write something a little bit more upbeat too at that time, and that's what we did with that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, you did great job. I mean, really great. And the story's called Why Write. I want to know why people write, but I also like to know like the why behind the stories, and even that brings interest to people to want to read and or to listen to a story or listen to a song. And when, like you said, you can't worry about how people interpret it, because they're going to, I'm interpreting, Cigar Smoke with the fragrance of flowers.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever think anyone would do that?
Did not think anyone would do that. No way.
So it's just a matter of like you're speaking, we share our words to let it speak to you how you need to receive it.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful and powerful and amazing. So are you headed back to New Jersey today?
I am headed back to New Jersey today, unfortunately.
Well, thanks for coming into the studio to do this. This is awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Where can our audience find your music, and where can they, email you? Do they email you if they want to book you for a gig or something?
Absolutely, yeah. So you can find me anywhere you stream music, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. All you got to do is search up Johnny Blair. I'll pop up quicker if you search Johnny Blair Cigar Smoke, because that was the title of my EP. If anybody's interested in booking any of that kind of stuff, you can email me at jdblair311@gmail.com. And you can also find me, everywhere on social media, Facebook, Instagram.
Under
Blair.
Johnny Blair or John Blair?
Johnny Blair. Johnny Blair. Yep.
Johnny Blair.
Yep.
Tanya, we're going to see a lot of this guy right here. We're going to have a lot of music to be playing, and I hope you, go right to your computer right now and start streaming some of his music, and you're going to see, why I'm so in love with it and why he's such a soulful storyteller in his music, because it really is something that you need to pay attention to. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for
I'm
having
going
me.
to put all the links below. I like saying that.
Perfect.
Put all the links in so that you can find him, find out more about him, and, stay tuned to more episodes of Why Write. So, Johnny, this is the point of the program that I'm going to talk to the audience because I give them a writing prompt.
Okay, cool.
So, because we've talked a lot about, like, the memories of the past that inspired you, I think I'm going to go something with that.
Perfect. Yeah, I like that.
So, all right, everybody, pick up your pens and paper because you're going to start writing as soon as this episode's over. Set your timer for, 10 minutes. Sit still for a minute and maybe think for 1 minute, something that happened in your memories that you have. Did someone have like that specific line they said to you? Maybe grandma said, eat your vegetables. Maybe it's grandpa's gospel. There's something that you can find in your own history that is going to create a story for you. And maybe you're going to start hearing it as a song in your own heart. So listen to that song and start writing it because it's really something important that needs to be shared. Maybe with someone else and maybe just for you. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Why Write. We will be back with another episode soon. And I want to thank Studio 954. I want to thank Johnny Blair for coming in. And I want to thank you, the audience, for tuning in every week so that I can do what I love, which is to be curious about what other people are doing so that it can also inspire me in my own works as, I'm writing things too. So thank you again for joining us. I will see you next time.